As people over there, people over here, I'm going to tell you something that you need to understand. It's just different in the SEC. Certain jobs in college football just require you to always be good. Thank your predecessor or thank the forefathers, the Bear Bryants, the Nick Sabans. It's not like this everywhere, and everybody should understand it. So being grateful that that's your head coach, hell no! Do your job!
That was one of the greatest sermons I've ever heard, Reverend Cam Newton, even before Christmas.
Great sermon, Cameron Gregory Newton.
Not Gregory!
What a message from Cam preaching about what it's like down in the SEC. Some might say, Paul, that it just means more. How does Cam's message sit with you as we're talking about Kalen DeBoer? Do you find yourself agreeing with Cam?
First of all, Joel Osteen better watch out. Here comes Reverend Cam Newton to the big church. And it does resonate. And I think Kalen DeBoer understands that. And the fine line between being down 17-0 the other night in Oklahoma and winning that game was Kalen DeBoer perhaps, at least in theory, being run out of the town on a rail, because that's how desperate it was. And that's what the noise level was at. On Friday night. Most Alabama fans I heard from wanted him gone and were willing to charter the plane to Ann Arbor. But today, everything is copacetic. It's Christmas time in Dixie, in Tuscaloosa, and everyone loves Kalen DeBoer. And you know what? They probably should, because Penn State has tried to hire him, and Michigan would have offered him the moon had he been able to disengage from Tuscaloosa, which he will not now.
Okay, let's talk about Alabama. Both the Crimson Tide and Miami pulled off upsets to advance to the quarterfinals of the college football playoff. The Hurricanes now face defending national champion Ohio State, while Alabama takes on top-seeded Indiana. As for Oregon, they face Texas Tech, and Ole Miss gets a regular season rematch with the Georgia Bulldogs. Paul Feinbaum back with us now as we are looking ahead to next weekend in these games. Who has the better chance of pulling off an upset? Is it Alabama or is it Miami?
It is Alabama for this reason, and I'm well aware, as everyone is, that Indiana is the number one seed. But Indiana has been sitting there watching, and I'm sure when Alabama appeared on the screen late Friday night, they started thinking, we have to play Alabama? We have the worst tradition and worst record in the history of college football, and we have to play the biggest and the baddest at the Rose Bowl. And I'm not saying Indiana is intimidated. I don't think they are. Their defense is elite. They are well-disciplined and a highly coached team. But Alabama's got a little bit of momentum under its belt. And I think last year, we've talked in the past about those 4 bye teams all lost. This year, the circumstances are different. But I think Alabama is coming into this game finally with some confidence that it didn't have. Now, conversely, Miami is also going to the Cotton Bowl with a great deal of confidence, but they're, I think, facing the best team left in the field. I don't know how Ohio State let that Indiana game get away in the Big Ten Championship, but I think Ohio State is going to be more difficult to beat than, interestingly, Indiana, the team that beat Ohio State the last time we saw both.
I mean, let's have the honest conversation. I think nobody's losing sleep, or everybody has this type of idea when you start to say, oh, my God, we're playing Indiana. But there's some people that's going to lose sleep with the thought process of saying, hey, we got to play Alabama. Even with this type of Alabama team, Alabama always has a brand of physicality to other conferences that is not matched until they go against somebody from the SEC. Now, Cam's always by. Well, listen, bro, make me think different. When you start to say how Big Ten teams play, even with the Heisman Trophy winner in Mendoza, there's nothing really about Indiana that will be the theme of the game outside of they probably are the team that is coached the best in all of college football. But that's it. On what top to bottom metrics? Well, we know how many 5 stars Alabama seems to garner or year in and year out, and how many 5 stars Indiana does not have. Will that be something that will be the difference in a game like this? Because it's the ground, it's the pound, it's the physicality, it's the girth, it's all type of things that you have to say, looking to from the microscopic lens to give Alabama the edge over a team like Indiana.
Well, Alabama did lose in its conference championship game. Indiana won its conference championship game. Indiana is the 1 seed. we don't have enough time for this part
That's
of
cool.
the discussion, but I do really want to talk about the group of five because I'm sorry, guys, these games were not good over the weekend. We saw Ole Miss blow out Tulane,
Yep.
Oregon have no issue, 17-point win over JMU. Paul, is it time to eliminate the group of five schools from being a part of the CFP?
Yes, yes, yes. And I mean, we're not sitting here and trying to say what they look good, because they didn't. JMU was down by 31. Oregon already left the game and let them mop up to cover the spread. But the games were unwatchable. And I don't know very many people who want to see these schools in. And I'm well aware there's arguments. Well, hey, even in the NFL, the NFC South winner gets into the playoff. But they're professional teams on the same level. JMU and Tulane are the elite of that division, but they're still not anywhere near the same page. And Cam, we could go through the SEC and probably find quite a few schools who could beat both with one hand behind their back. It is just an absolute hypocrisy to have to deal with this every year. This year, there shouldn't have been two in, but the ACC was asleep at the wheel with their tiebreaker system. I don't want to watch one. And I know we ought to sing Kumbaya, it's Christmas, and I don't want to be the Grinch who stole Christmas, but get these schools and get these conferences out of my way. I don't want to see them anymore. I want to see the best 16, 12, whatever the number is. It's 12 now, it's going to 16. I still don't want to see them if we have 28.
Yep. And you're right, Uncle Paulie, and I'll second that. You don't want to be the Grinch, but I'll be Ebenezer Scrooge. Because the reality is this: somebody has to tell people the truth. And the truth is this: in football, Cinderella stories do not exist. I don't care how much you want to root. I don't care how much you want to push. Cinderella stories do not exist in nothing but Disney movies. I have a stat here that with two group of five losses, conference championships are now 0-7 in the college football playoffs since we started the college football playoffs. Also, JMU, group of five teams, are now 0-4, and they've been outscored 150-64. Now, when you start to factor in, are we doing this for views? Are we doing this for the outright ability to say, hey, the best play the best? And that's cool. This pilot program that the College Football Committee wanted to kind of see, and we done seen enough. Now, let's go on and say, hey, let's put the 12 best and let's allow them to compete at a high level, because certain things, you can't blame Tulane. You can't blame James Madison. Their budgets are different to how they even recruit their players, let alone to keep their coaches. That's a whole nother story. So they're playing on a different metric scale of how it's expected for them to perform when they're going against Goliath.
It's just very different than mid-majors in college basketball, making it to the Elite Eight, making it to the Final Four, than it is in football. Like it's a completely different argument, and I know that people want to see the inclusion element there. It gave us bad games. We don't want bad football.
No.
Paul, we appreciate you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank
All
you,
right,
guys.
coming up next, the Eagles may have clinched their second straight NFC East title, but one of our guys isn't convinced that the Birds have found the right formula on offense. Find out who next on First Take.